Doesn't have third row seating, but I thought I'll still give it a go anyway. Just check out the boot space on the new Duster. It is definitely one of the vehicles that's certainly getting a lot of attention right now in our Indian market. Welcome to CNB, folks. It's a brand new episode. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Partnkar, and we have the Duster once again with us. Of course, you've seen it on the show before, but given the kind of excitement around this vehicle, it is definitely one of the most in-demand vehicles in our market right now. We thought we'll get into it just a little bit more today on the program. In fact, we decided to make it a bit of an SUV special. So you're going to see lots of SUVs on the program today, something I know that many of you really enjoy. Let's get started then with a little refresher on the new Duster. So as I said, here's what you probably remember already. The Duster is meant to be frugal, to build, buy and own. It's not trying to be upmarket or swanky, and yet it catches your eye. The looks are fairly masculine and butch, with strong lines and a design that implies width. The car is by no means pretty, but certainly is attractive nonetheless. The roof rails and the heavy chrome grille just add to the appeal. The Duster is available in 2 diesel and 1 petrol engine options. It is only 2-wheel drive, it's got decent cabin space, and today we once again have the top-end RZX 1.5 litre 108 bhp diesel variant priced at 11,30,000 rupees ex-showroom Delhi. So it's a formidable package. It is definitely attractively priced as well, but it's only available in 4x2. Now, what if you wanted something else? You didn't really want the Duster. What's in the market? Well, you got the old Safari from Tata. You've also got the old Scorpio from Mahindra. But let's talk a little bit more contemporary. And so if you want to spend a little bit more money and you also want the option of a 4x4, well, then you've also got this, don't you? The Cheetah. That's right. The XUV500. The kind of popularity and excitement that you're seeing around the Duster kind of reminds you a little bit of what you saw with the XUV. Of course, the XUV was, I think, a little bit more of a phenomenon than the Duster is. But this is definitely looking still like a fairly comprehensive package. It is still fairly attractively priced. The looks to some people are a little bit overdone, but it's a little bit bigger. It looks more imposing perhaps than the Duster does. And of course, as you know, it's loaded with a whole lot more features. But on interiors, etc., there are a few things. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But globally speaking, especially in Europe, in UK, for example, the big rival for the Duster is this car. Now, this is, of course, the Skoda Yeti, also available in 4x4 and 4x2. But today we're talking only about comparing to the Duster. So we've got only 2-wheel drives on the show. And the little SUV, which hasn't really gained acceptance because people think it's too small and too compact, is really premium in the way it's built. It is priced differently, though. All 3 of them are. Let's put them together to figure out which one makes the most sense to buy. So 3 compact SUVs that want to be your ride in the urban jungle. The straight advantage that the XUV and Yeti have is that they are also available in 4-wheel drive. None of them are conventionally good looking and almost border on weird in their proportions, design cues, and some of the elements like the headlamps, for instance. The XUV500, though, will win any survey that we could do in India as the most desirable looking. Though I gotta say that I like all 3 of them for their individuality. The engine options on the Duster are the most diverse, with varying outputs to boot. The XUV uses the biggest engine, and the option is just for that all-wheel drive. While the Yeti also offers differently tuned variants for the same 2-litre common rail diesel block, none offer automatic transmission options, sadly. Now let's step inside the cabins, shall we? Very comfortable cabin the Duster has, comfy seats. The driver seat sits a little high for my liking. Decent on equipment, decent on colors and fit and finish. Pretty strong air conditioning, including this rear AC vent, which is a good idea always in India, but the way it's been built, it actually eats into the leg room at the back, and so the third passenger at the back might find themselves being a little cramped. You get a little bit of pampering in terms of Bluetooth phone and of course iPod connectivity, but that's about it. No touch screens, no navigation, nothing fancy. Now the XUV, it's definitely a whole lot roomier and it gives you a sense of style as well. It may be overdone for some people, and the plastic levels perhaps a little bit tacky even now, though compare them to the other Mahindras and then it starts to look a lot better. There are two versions in terms of trims. You get the higher version, which is what I have right now. The touchscreen, there's a whole lot there. There's the music system, there is the navigation, there's trip computer, vehicle information, all of that is in there. And so lots in terms of equipment. It really pampers you. The air conditioning is pretty effective too. And if it wasn't for this plastic quality, I think it would definitely be just a clear winner. There is an option of beige and brown, and of course black and plum as well. Despite its name, the Yeti has the smallest cabin of the three, and yet it is the best in terms of fit and finish and plastic quality. No doubt about it, it's VW Group territory, so you of course have seen all of this before. You don't get the touchscreen on the base version, of course, or the middle version, but you still have the inbuilt music system, fairly effective air conditioning. However, there is no USB input or Bluetooth connectivity, which could go a little bit against this car, especially now that it's standard even on small hatches. So the three are indeed very different on the inside too, aren't they? The Yeti comes across as most plush, while the XUV500 is certainly highest on the goodies list. Now, let's drive. The Duster itself doesn't feel like a very high vehicle like some other SUVs, but within the cabin, this driver's seat's placed a little bit high, so that feels a little awkward. I wish there was a height adjustment for the seat. Now, besides that, the engine's a little clattery too when you hear it. In fact, sound damping in general in the cabin isn't great, because even at slightly higher speeds, you keep thinking there's a window open in the car, and that's not a good thing. Now, the good bits. That, of course, is something you've heard me say on the show before. Effortless. I think that's the best way to put this combination of gearbox and engine, because it feels exactly like that. It is, of course, high in terms of fuel efficiency as well, and so that's the part of the package, along with the handling, that does end up being a bit of a winner. It's a commanding driving position, very comfortable seat, great driver presence and positioning. I think that's what really works for the XUV. And of course the engine's fairly powerful too, so it's responsive and it gives you that. Though the downside is that despite it being a monocoque, you still get a little bit of body roll still. And of course I have to also add that it makes for a more fun drive when you're on the highway. It's a good cruiser. In city traffic, Mahindra might want to consider throwing in a variant with automatic transmission. Got the best handling for sure of the three. The Yeti definitely has very car-like comfort, car-like feel, and it's very satisfying to drive. Once again, where the Yeti feels most nimble and offers a great ride, the XUV seems to outdo on comfort and space. Plus, it's the only one with a third row seating option. And so, as it always does, it all comes down to the prices. And here it's plain to see why the Duster is making so much noise in the marketplace. The car is very aggressively priced, and even in markets like the UK, for instance, it starts at about £10,000, while the Yeti starts at about 15 grand. And of course, there it is branded Dacia, while in India, it's the more premium Renault badge, isn't it? All hell may just break loose when Ford launches the EcoSport in 5 months' time, and then the mini SUV space may separate itself from compact SUVs altogether. And like I said, we've got to still see where Tata puts its Safari Storm too. There's a good reason why everybody took to the XUV in such a big way in the Indian market, because the market was starved for something as premium and fully loaded at that kind of price point. We're going to see more and more action at that price point, and if you want something a little bit more premium, perhaps a little more practical, women drivers in particular will like the Yeti as well. But all told, given the fact that price is such an important factor in our market and its nice drivability, fuel efficiency, it has to be the new vehicle. It wasn't an easy choice, but I can tell you the Duster does then end up being the best vehicle to buy amongst these three, and really the price ends up, like I said, being the overriding factor.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app Fully optimized for Retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.